Hey, I'm Amethyst Goddess from InAlignment Ministries, and today we're going to get into the current energy. Now, if you hear a little noise, I'm giving you a heads up. It's raining really hard, but I gotta get this message out, point blank, period. So as long as it's not hella thunder and lightning, your girl is going to finish this video, okay? So just to let you know, there is a lot of earth energy that is at play. There will be a new moon in Capricorn coming up. And we have a lot of Capricorn energy that are currently in the planetary shifts. So Mercury in Capricorn until the 26th. You know, this is Capricorn season until the 20th. We have Mars in Capricorn till February 13th. Mercury in Capricorn until February 4th. And just a hint of fire, we have Venus in Sagittarius until the 21st of this month. So again, the energy is very interesting. Some of you will be evaluating your approach because I did hear dogmatic. So some of you are learning to be adaptable, learning to be flexible for what you have right now that's showing up for you. This is, according to the Gregorian calendar, the new year. But we all know we typically feel that new year energy around March, April sometime, like towards the end of March, early April. But that's neither here nor there. With this energy, you're going through a death and like a rebirth. So of course, you know, with the winter season, a lot of us are cleaning house like it's spring cleaning. A lot of us are really assessing our values and assessing what counts and what matters, and like really doing away with a lot of fluff, like getting to the meat or the heart of the matter versus focusing so much on how can I say, some kind of gain I'm hearing that some of us got caught up in the material. So now it's a thing where you're working on balancing, focusing on the material, you know, for financial gain. You're practicing self-care. You're really looking inward as far as what you need to work on. Some of you are dealing with generational attachments or traumas, because I'm seeing that Capricorn energy is dealing with those things that are rooted and planted within our ancestral DNA. So some of that is like causing us to not necessarily be triggered, but to reflect on the past and see how we can better show up and change like that storyline, or that the way your lineage actually shows up. So if it's healing and transmuting that energy from the past so that you can start that new cycle fresh. I see a lot of you are just really assessing your relationships, whether that's platonic or romantic, as well as some of you, I'm hearing the word scheme. So if there was an issue where you felt like individuals in your life, again, whether it's platonic or romantic, wasn't measuring up, or there was some factors that you couldn't put your finger on it, you just knew something was missing or something wasn't adding up, you are actually evaluating those relationships as we speak. Let's see here. You are understanding that with this energy, you have to have that middle ground, because everything is not going to go your way, is what I'm hearing. So not that you won't get what you want or desire. It's a matter of how it may show up that may be different than what you expect. And it may make you feel like there's a mismatch in the term of, okay, I expected to have X amount of dollars by now. It may be a thing where you kind of miss something within your strategic planning, where you actually have an opportunity that will generate that, but you were just focusing on one aspect of how you can generate income. So now it's like going back to the drawing board, seeing what you have come up with, and maybe reassessing some of those things and seeing how, I'm hearing going to the drawing board, so assessing and seeing how you can maneuver in a more strategic manner, where you're not exhausted, where you're not exerting a lot of force, where it's like, some of you still want to be in that work hard, play hard. I'm still hearing that. Some of you still like that hustle I'm hearing Hustle and Flow. I think that's a movie, but I'm seeing that some of you still want to work hard for what you have. But I'm here to tell you, those who energetically feel inclined to slow down and be a little bit gentle with yourself, especially with your type of energy, you may not want to do all that hustle and bustle anymore. You want to be smart about it, in a sense of like pacing yourself and choosing how much time and resources do you allocate to certain things, certain projects, certain relationships, even how much are you allocating to yourself. And I'm hearing pay yourself first. So that's on an energetic level, that's on a financial level, that's on spiritual level, self-care, all of that. You need to prioritize yourself first. And I'm seeing that that Capricorn energy will help you with that. I also want you to keep in mind that the beauty of Capricorn is there's earth and then there's water element, because Capricorn is connected to the sea goat. So I hear 1 foot in and 1 foot out. So I'm seeing that this sea goat is not only able to dive in those waters, and I'm hearing deep waters as far as following your intuition, your gut, going with those nudges that you hear, and then also I'm seeing the earth element where you're on solid ground and you're balancing yourself and you're actually grounding a lot of your dreams and aspirations. And some of you are toiling through it. Some of you have persevered through a lot of challenges. I'm hearing even roadblocks you may have experienced. But if you know anything about that particular animal, they're very resilient. They're very tough. And I'm hearing they don't care about a no, because they will keep going until they hear that yes. So a lot of you all are tapped into that, where it's like, even if people have said like, really that is little to no income, or that's really a slim chance that you'll be able to be successful in that, or say for instance, I don't know if you should relocate in that area. If you're following the signs and the synchronicities, you will go with what your inner compass tells you versus what someone else or a naysayer may say, okay? And sometimes those people, they mean well, they care about you, and they want to see you win, but they just don't know or understand your vision or your path. So it's really up to you on how you take that information. As far as those who have provided some form of advice for you, at the end of the day, it's free will, and you know you, and it's like, do what you have to do. You get what I'm saying? Do what you have to do. So I want to pull some cards. I want to pull some cards for this energy. And you're also, I'm hearing practical matters as well as like mystical like vibes. So of course, you know, when you're dealing with water, you're connecting to the emotions, right? But you also are connected to a very spiritual plane. So sometimes we can get caught up in the spiritual practices to the point where we don't have that practical aspect of ourselves, or we tend to neglect it. And Spirit is saying to tap into that Capricorn energy more, so that you can place your feet on solid ground, okay? Give me the current energy, please. Oh, okay. So I heard fast forward. So the card that wanted to communicate with us is the Mars card. Mars is connected to Aries, but believe it or not, in the past it was connected to Scorpionic energy, okay? So I'm gonna touch this card and just see exactly what's going on. I'm hearing initiative. So some of you have the urge of initiating some plans. You may feel inclined to actually start activating your throat chakra, your solar plexus, where you can go ahead and follow through on those dreams or those things that you know you need to handle. I'm seeing that a lot of you all are eliminating procrastination, eliminating excuses, and you actually are seeing that you need to put in some work. You need to at least put in some effort, and it won't get done unless you participate in your vision. So it's not a matter of that you didn't have enough faith, you didn't have enough belief, you didn't have the excitement, you didn't set your intentions. It's a matter of you actually acting on it. It's a matter of you actually taking the initiative. And I'm even hearing part of a scripture. I don't know how this will play out, but I guess it connects to Mars energy. The violent taketh by force. So it's a thing where some of you all have been living passively, have had a limited perspective of success, and success in all realms, not just in a business spectrum or financial or material spectrum, but just all things feeling like you're not sufficient. And so your perspective has limited you in the sense of how you show up in the world, your health, even just your overall quality of living, that you have been able to see that now you can do better and you deserve better. And I'm here to tell you that worth and deserving is really a human perspective, and we are living a human experience, so it makes sense. But it's you that decides what worth and what deserving means. It's very neutral to me. The energy is very neutral to me because it's based on your perspective. It reminds me of Jupiter energy, where Jupiter expands. It's a neutral energy as well. It expands whatever, you get what you give. So it's like if you're putting a whole bunch of emotion and excitement into something, naturally you're going to get the fruits of that. And quite the opposite, if you're doing something that is negatively influencing your situation or your dynamics, it's going to give you more of that as well. So what I'm saying in regards to the worth and the deserving part, you got to be a little careful on that part of, well, I deserve this or I feel worthy of that. Because then you're the one that's actually putting the value onto that desire or outcome or expectation, people, even situations, just whether it's love, material, whatever. It's like, what do you say it is? And so if there's a contradiction within your subconscious or within your cells, your energetic makeup, then you're going to always receive the negative aspect of it, because a part of you is recording on the recording saying that no, in fact, you don't deserve it. No, in fact, you're not worth it. Whether you tap into that aspect or not, I encourage you to look at it in a different light, not necessarily categorizing it based on value. It's a thing where, hey, I want to enjoy this. Hey, I love doing this, so I want more of that. If I naturally love doing something, more is going to come to me in that experience. So if I love love, I can't help but receive love in all arenas. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic connection. It can be a relative, it can be an animal, it can just be in nature, and just feeling that oneness and love and serenity and compassion and harmony within that space. But I'm also seeing that it can manifest in any way. So just don't limit it to the perspective of deserving and worth all the time, because there can be some contradictory aspects within there, especially if you haven't healed some of those aspects within you that are deemed as limited, or you haven't gotten to the root of that, like did your shadow work and healed those little issues that may impact you as far as what value is, worthiness, being deserving of something, just to cut through that. So then you don't, well, I deserve it, I feel like I'm worthy of it, and then you get caught up in that emotion when it doesn't happen the way you expect. I hope that makes sense. But this energy with Mars, and you may have been seeing 888, this energy with Mars, I'm seeing a lot of us are taking action on things that we've been desiring to do. We've had a lot of retrogrades, right? So with a lot of those retrogrades, you may have experienced some delays. I'm even hearing cancellations, revisions, procrastination. Some of the things that you wanted to handle, you actually had to just quit altogether. Just like go back to the drawing board. Maybe that's not going to work. We're going to have to do something else and revisit this later. So it's like you're getting that green light again to pick up those things, revisit those ideas or projects or what have you, and now you're actually going to implement them. Okay. So I mentioned Jupiter energy. Of course, you may know if you are into astrology that Jupiter is in Taurus. So I mentioned this before, that energy is like with that earth element, it's like that long-term growth aspect. I'm hearing the finish line. So it's a thing where it's not instant gratification, the building blocks that you're creating for your life, whether it's in the professional arena, whether it's in your stability. I'm seeing that some of you are making it work, making it count, learning the lessons from Saturn, because we did have a Saturn retrograde as well. So, and I believe it was in Pisces. So it's a thing where intuitively we've tapped in and did some real deep reflection on what we needed to improve within ourselves and how we're showing up, how sometimes we can fall under our own disillusionment and deceive ourselves based on our belief systems, based on our perception. And I'm seeing that all of that is under, have been highlighted. It's been like a spotlight on how we hold ourselves accountable within all arenas, whether it's love, whether it's, regular relationships like family or friendships or business, or even just how we just show up in the world, period. And so all that has come under the radar, under that spotlight. And Saturn is that energy where if you've been wiggling around and avoiding, because I'm hearing avoidance, some of you have been avoiding certain lessons, or you think you're avoiding certain lessons, that you're now like, I'm hearing it's crunch time. So some of you are not able to wiggle out of it or push things off like you normally do. You have to face it. If it was a certain diet that you realized that was harming you more than anything, you're revising that. Because it's like the inflammation, the outbreaks, the feelings after you ingest something, it's like you can't deny it anymore, even if you wanted to. And it's a thing where it's like, once and for all, let's just get this over with. Like, what is it worth it? Like, at the end of the day, is it worth it? How do you feel afterwards? You realize how it brings down your spirit, it brings down your energy when you ingest or you partake in certain things. And that can be on, whether you want to choose that as alcohol, drugs, I don't know, a certain ingredients that you eat that are not good for you. I received like real clarity on like white sugar, and being mindful of how the white sugar, like processed like ingredients, like how it causes inflammation within me. And it was like, okay, you don't even, like, once you get it in your mouth and you like ingest it, you feel like crap. Like, once you have that sweet or the dessert or a cookie, whatever, you know what I mean, you don't feel good. And you feel better when you find alternative sweets or desserts. So that can be fruit, that can be smoothies, you get what I'm saying? It can be other stuff. It can just something that's not as harsh as some of the things that I was ingesting. I just noticed that it was really not serving me, and it was really like affecting my body, and I was getting irritated like in my throat, because I am allergic to dairy, like cow's milk. So if things had like that in there, especially like baked goods, because I like baked goods, okay? So if it was like baked goods, my throat would like get inflamed. Even if it's like I'll be able to digest it. Sometimes it used to be really bad. It's like I would actually vomit. But it had got to a point where it was like, okay, if I don't do too much, I'll just get a little pinch and it'll irritate me in my throat a little bit, maybe in my ears. As long as I don't do too much, I'll be all right. But it's like my body is now like saying no, like no, enough. And the term that they gave me was refined sugar. That's what it was. That's good. That's some ginger drink. It is so good. But like refined sugar, like cut it out. Like there's so many other foods that you can eat that can give you the same satisfaction if you're looking for that satisfaction. But then you got to look down deeper and connect, where is that resonance coming from as far as the sugar? Because you know they say sugar is a drug, right? And when you look, you know, because it does like something to you chemically, but even deeper than that, it's like it connects to childhood. It connects to your ancestral DNA as far as certain diets that we have, which makes sense about why we keep manifesting the same thing, is because we eating the same thing that they ate. But there's a connection there that is rooted sometimes in trauma, that is rooted, like say for instance, you're so used to celebrating birthdays or certain holidays and it's connected to food. And it can be a positive aspect to it, but then there can be a negative aspect as far as triggering memories from those particular time periods where, you know, the birthday party was probably the only happy time that you ever had. And so you want to naturally get that high from that aspect of yourself where birthdays were celebratory and you felt good and everyone finally get along and y'all can eat real good. And probably there's some gluttony within that as well. And it's just like sugar and fats and, you know, all of that. But I'm saying that to say a lot of us are evaluating all of these different experiences. Those things are coming up to the surface for us to deal with. And it's like for us to really be our best selves, we recognize, and if you haven't, you will recognize what you can, I'm hearing the word curtail. I'm not exactly sure what that term is. You know I'm gonna look it up, right? Reduce in extent or quantity. Impose a restriction on. Man, I'm telling you, spirit is like so dynamite. Like I get words, and some of the words I know like off the rip, like I know off the bat, and I kind of know how it's fitting into some of my sentences, but I always get blown away when I hear certain terms. I'm like, let me see how this word fits in this particular situation. But so you understand where I'm coming from, I'm sure. So this energy, again, it's influencing us to consider how we show up, reconsider have we learned the lessons, reconsider failures or the things that we identify as failures. Are they really failures or are they just lessons? It's really about your perspective during this time. But there's room for growth, there's room for expansion, there's room for long-term success and personal growth in all aspects, whether it's professional or personal. And basically is being aware of those weaknesses or those challenges that we experience and being aware of the strengths that we have, that we possess, to not focus on just one or the other, to have a wholehearted like perspective, a well-rounded perspective of what's going on within us. Okay, so let's see. some of you are actually coming to terms with deal breakers. Like, what is positively, absolutely things you cannot tolerate, things you cannot carry over, things you cannot translate in or compromise on or anything like that. You're finally looking at things for what they are, situations and relationships for what they are, even financial situations. If you have, because I'm hearing the term blunder. So if there was a thing where you were spending money in a careless or how is the word where you are spending frivolously. So if that has been an issue, all of that has to be nipped in the bud. Okay. What word was I going to look up? I don't even remember. I was going to look up a word, but I don't remember. So surrender during this time. Surrender during this time as far as what comes up. And like not try to downplay it or deny it, like, nah, I ain't that bad and all that kind of stuff. No, like really look into it. Like really trust what you're seeing and take a pause. Selah. If you're familiar with Psalms, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's pause and to think about it. Right? To calmly think about it. It's also connected to forever, but it's like basically to take time to actually see what that means, to pause on it. It can also be interpreted as like a blessing, but I'm hearing Selah, and that's in Psalms. Let's see. To look back and reflect upon. And also it's a good time to rest in that knowing, and also be in the aspect of being able to surrender to the process and not resist it and not fight it. Okay? That a lot of us are finally taking away those lessons and saying, you know what, I need to apply them. I know what's for my good. And even if I don't understand all the dynamics of it or the significance on it, like significance of it, that you're putting everything in perspective and you're contemplating a lot of things. Okay? And you're reflecting, and it's actually pretty good to do that right now. But also take action. You do have the green light for that. So some of you have had to get expertise or follow through on some things to see where you stand and then apply those things, right? And you had to make some revisions on your strategies in doing so. All right. So that's pretty much what I have. I enjoyed this reading. This is the current energy. Again, there is a lot of grounding energy, but keep in mind, it's not meant to keep you stagnant. It's just helping you to solidify and make things concrete, confirm some things so you can stop vacillating and trust yourself from what you're receiving, and apply those things that you already know. All right. So that's all I have. Be well. Take care.